welcome to Sports Vibe TV, and I'm here with Chelsea and Reading legend Paul Canoville. Paul, thanks a lot for joining us. I just want to start with Chelsea, one of your ex-clubs this season. Seems to be going strong. What have you made of their first half of the season?
Yeah, don't get me wrong, we're the talk of the town, isn't it, Chelsea? And Chelsea's come back, and a favourite of ours, and you know what I mean, was something that we hoped for his return, and he's done that. He's got in the players that he's wanted, and they've exceeded themselves. They've done well. They've combined. The football is unbelievable, and plus more to that, they're defending well. So we're making it difficult. Being at the bridge now is the fortress. It's not easy to come here, whereas before that, clubs from lower was coming down and beating us. So yeah, it's going well at the moment. Last week, another 5 points ahead. But never say never. This is done. I think the only way we could lose is that we lose, not by giving it, but we lose games ourselves. But at the moment, I'm kind of happy, kind of smiling every time I go down the bridge, and Chelsea doing well.
So, in a word, are they going to win the title?
You'd like to say that, yes, but you know what? I'm going to actually say I'm a person that usually say, look, wait till the end of the season. But I'm telling you what, I want them to win the season, the title. And if they play like they're playing and defend like they're playing, I reckon so. We can do it.
Now, I'm going to take you back to when you first played for Chelsea and your debut for Chelsea, which you spoke to me about before. Very difficult day for you. For those that haven't read your book and don't know, could you kind of explain what happened that day and how that made you feel?
You know what? I could never forget that day. Still now, I can close my eyes and I can see it clearly. And making the debut against Crystal Palace, obviously every boy whose dream really of wanting to be in the first team and having the opportunity of making that, debut. Family members, friend members was down there to watch me and give me support. But how it turned out, I couldn't believe it. And second half, waiting eagerly to get on and waiting and looking at the manager whether I can do something. And then at the final, maybe 10 minutes, he told me to get warmed up. And it was like, I'm ready. And that's when it hit me. It's like, wow. To hear this racism taunts that was shouted at me, not knowing exactly where it was coming through, and then finding out it's your own supporters, it was daunting. And it was frightening because I didn't expect that. Not from a large majority of the crowd, Chelsea supporters, and not all of them, were like that, I've got to be honest. But it was daunting, it was frightening, and it was scary. We all know that this continued for 2.5 years, where I was, receiving like low esteem support, to be honest, and every time it didn't give me confidence, but I probably didn't show it. But if they'd ever knew how low it made me, how I used to build myself up just to be courageous to come out, I didn't even know how I did it. So, it was good.
Well, it's sickening to think that that's what times were like then. We've obviously come a long way since then now, but how far do you think we've come, and how much more that needs to happen in football to completely eradicate racism?
Let's be honest here. I don't think we can really get rid of it. It's always going to be there. But what needs to be done is it needs to be curbed, it needs to be stamped on as soon as. I think we've allowed it to get away with it too often and for far too long. And when I say get on top of it right away, I mean punishing the individual, punishing the club where racism is, acted with exact force. My opinion is like the FIFA, UEFA, FA included. They need to put a punishment regime straight on. When it happens, not an appeal, not panel and wait for decision. You, right there and then, you punish the individual, whoever. For me, we know that football now is embarked where it's a financial gain. Everything it's a business now. The money that's projected into the clubs, and that's from Sky, TVs and other sponsors, it's big business. Now, no club will enjoy losing money because they have to play for the players. It's that. It's coming from the fans. It's coming from various other organisations, but money's coming from those avenues. Now, if you're saying individuals who are taunting racism in a club, they're representing the club. So therefore, that club needs to deal with it. If they're not dealing with it, I say to them, you ban the fans. I don't care which fans it is, you ban the fans. Then let's see how serious, because the rest of the fans, it's not all the fans are like that. But I'm sure supportive, they'll get behind and say, look, this is something we don't want at the club. So therefore, we're going to turf those ignorant, racist supporters out of the ground. They don't want them in the club. And they're going to be losing money, because if they're going to team, they'd be spending their season ticket to watch their team, but not allowed to because of ignorant louts. That's where you start putting in the pockets. That's where they're going to start feeling it. So the club, I reckon, will start doing something about it. That's my belief anyway. You know what I mean? In my opinion, is one. There's so many. The big man up the top there, those are the ones that need to do something. So
is there something to be said for sort of long-term things that are going on that can eradicate it from the very bottom in terms of education, in terms of changing attitudes, rather than just getting rid of people, because those people will still be in society? So of course we need to do something that eradicates the attitude altogether, that over time will get rid of racism altogether.
Well, you know, back then we didn't have organisations like the Kick It Out and the Red Card and Fair, whereas now, yes, they're big and being sponsored by the FA and certain organisations, but still not enough. Yeah, the programmes that they put out, don't get me wrong, is for the young generations that are coming up, to make them understand and aware what racism is and how it affects. Other more than that, I don't think you can change. The older generation are the ones who are the ones we need to reach to. Those are the ones who project or continue with this racism and think it's okay. So right now, I think we're reaching out to the youngsters to understand, look, this is not needed. And it's not developed just in sport. It's, as you said, in life in general. And I think they are reaching, don't get me wrong, in quarters. But it's in football, it's like in certain countries, it's not just here in England, it's certain countries need to understand that values as well. I'm not even going to name the countries, because I think we all know where racism is so radical. It's such a force, it's unbelievable. But it's what, as we said, those organisations, federations of the countries, they need to deal with it. And, you know what I mean, as you said, radically, with force. That's how I see.
Sure, I totally agree. And moving on to a bit more about you and what you're up to now, you told me a little bit off camera. Can you tell everyone what you've been up to, public speaking and mentoring people?
You know what, since last time we had an interview with Freddie, it's been great. I enjoy every day now when an organisation, whether a school, whether a college, university, calls me in to have a talk, whether it motivates, whether it inspires. I enjoy it. And obviously with my foundation, MTC, Motivates Change, it's given that avenue. And I suppose, because we're just discussing about the book, Black and Blue, how that winning that Sports Book of the Year had opened doors for me. But it's not just only talking here and throughout the country. I've been abroad, Helsinki, in America, India, and it's been brilliant. And I think more to that, it's where the individual youth, and I call it youth and young adults, are starting to listen to me. Well, I say start, they have been listening to me, so I've been told. And that makes a great response for me, because they've gone away thinking, yeah, we can change. They can change if given the chance. And it doesn't need more, where for me, we need individuals like myself, a lot more, I think. I'm just only one, but I'm sure there's other people, like mentoring and that, you know what I mean, taking in kids that they're listening to. But like, I'm an ex-player, don't get me wrong. Just imagine the youngsters that see former players and present players on the box. Those individuals, they can do so much more if they give their time to come out and talk to these young kids. You know what I mean? My importance to me, my dilemma was for me that I didn't take education seriously. And these are one of the kids that I need to understand. And when you've got a former prison player, football player, come out and tell you how poor education is, I'm telling you, the kid is going to react to that. He's going to, because he wants to be that individual. So he's going to learn, well, if he's telling me that my education is important, I need to get down and doing that. In other words, it gives them another chance. Don't get me wrong. Most of the boys, they love to be a footballer. That's the main thing. But if you're not going to make it, you're not going to be able to make it, you've got something else to chew on. And this is what this is all about. You know what I mean? This is what my message is when I go to schools. And I'm enjoying it, don't get me wrong. It's really so pleasing that when I see and hear that that kind of your speech, your talk meant so much, and what I've got out of it, the replies I get, you know what I mean, the reference letters I receive, yeah, I'm chuffed. I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm still chuffed, and may it continue and carry on.
Absolutely. Well, I'll leave it there, Paul. Thanks a lot for joining me again. It's been a pleasure as always, and all the best.
Thank you very much again, Freddie. Doing well.